Hi, Mrs. Vandekamp. I'm Justin, Andrew's lab partner.
As Jesus said, the last days would be like Sodom, and we are seeing a proliferation of homosexuality involving both the young and the old. Even scientists are now cloning vaginas and penises that can be used in individuals wanting to have sex changes. And these reproductive organs are completely, fully functional, both vaginas and penises. Here, we're watching a video of the process in which a vagina is actually made or cloned through using the patient's own cells. Here, they're showing an MRI image of the vagina actually functionally placed within an individual. Daniel, Jude, Apostle John, and the prophecy of Jesus is coming to pass before our very eyes. We are the last generation. The spirit of the Antichrist with fully exposed and glorified homosexuality like the Roman Empire has arrived. The clay is being transformed by iron. The revived Roman Empire under the command and control of the Antichrist is upon us. What did Jesus say in Luke chapter 21, verse 32 and 36? Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass away till all be fulfilled. Watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. The revolution, command and control of the heterosexual male. We will start with listening to Mark Simpson, author and journalist, at a seminar called Taking Action for Equality.
I think I'm going to try and outline what role gay men have played in indoctrinating the culture and actually kind of redesigning the male body. And it goes back at least to physique pictorial in the 1950s. And one of the most famous contributors to those physique pictorial magazines was somebody called Tom of Finland. The whole world was going to become a Tom of Finland drawing. His sensualized, cartoonish, uber male body and its endless potential for pleasure and pleasuring have become as common as, well, shameless male hussies.
Tom Finland, a homosexual, had a global effect on culture, unmatched by virtually any other artist or photographer. Tom sold the male body as a pleased, pleasuring, and pleasured thing, now even seen in Calvin Klein and Abercrombie and French advertisements. Tom's drawings are 21st century replicas of Greek and Roman homoerotic statues. What we're thinking is macho masculinity is homosexuality.
In the middle of the 20th century, Tom was effectively sketching the blueprint of 21st century man. Before Tom, almost no one drew men like he did, making them such unabashed sex objects and sex subjects, giving them such exaggerated male secondary and primary sexual characteristics: big chins, strong jaws, full lips. Masculinity and virility end up looking so nurturing.
So what's the journalist really saying? He's saying macho hypermasculinity, portrayed by exhibition of one's big chest muscles, biceps, and ripped abs, is nothing more than a contemporary imitation of naked Greek and Roman homosexuals. Today's contemporary hypermasculine macho men are products of homosexual fantasies designed by Tom Finland in the 1950s and marketed through advertisement to influence heterosexual men.
One picture from 1962 shows a young man strutting down the street, biceps bulging, chest literally bursting out of his shirt. Let's see if I can actually find that. And while Tom's men may have had their tits out for the lads, the kind of Tom-ish male body he helped to invent is nowadays getting them out for the lads and lasses, gay or straight, online or in real time. I'll show you a picture of a contemporary figure, also with his tits out. I don't know if you recognize this chap, Mikey Sorrentino.
Again, these near-naked men are slowly being transformed from metrosexual men through increasing self-vanity and the influence of the homosexual spirit, which is being portrayed as masculinity, but is actually covertly homoerotic images.
Half a century later, and 17 years after Tom's death in 1991, the world is literally inverted. Flesh and blood men who look like Tom's drawings appear on the cover of best-selling corporate mags, such as Men's Health. Flick one open, and you'll find it's full of advice on how straight men can turn themselves into something Tomish, straightish. If Tom did the designing, I'm now going to look at how the construction is done. According to a series of recent reports, steroids or juice or gear to the initiated, once an exotic drug of cheating athletes and freaky bodybuilders, have entered the mainstream and have become just another lifestyle product for young men. Some boys as young as 12 are reportedly taking the drug. The key to this mainstreaming of steroids is vanity. According to the surveys, the large majority of young men using the gear are not doing so to be stronger or faster or scarier, all traditionally acceptable masculine ambitions.
So what he's saying is that there's nothing wrong with bulking up with muscle, especially if it's part of a natural, normal masculine ambition, because men want to become stronger and faster and even be more intimidating as they compete in a male world.
But to look more attractive, to look shaggable, or just make you look. In other words, young men are taking steroids the way that many gay party boys have taken them for years.
But when men take steroids to look more attractive, to be more desirable for sex, or just to make someone look, that is the spirit of the homosexual erotic lust of the homosexual.
To look good on the beach, or dance floor, or webcam. Muscle Marys, as they're called by envious, less muscular gays, are apparently no longer a strictly gay phenomenon. Muscle Marys are where masculinity is at, Mary. It shouldn't be so surprising. We don't really need surveys to tell us this. It is, after all, happened right before our eyes. A generation of young males have been reared on irresistibly and frequently chemically lean and muscular images of the male body in sport, advertising, magazines, movies, and telly. Even in the cartoons they watch and the computer games or toy dolls, or action figures, they play with, it seems that all that's left of masculinity in a post-industrial, post-paternal world is a hot bod.
Men have become so marginalized, their body is the only thing that defines them.
Even Action Man is now a muscle Mary. Let's see if we can find that picture. Right, G.I. Joe 1960, G.I. Joe 2001. God knows what he looks like now.
Comparing G.I. Joe in 1960 to the current G.I. Joe in 2013. Since 1960, the biceps have more than doubled. Chest muscles have gone from 44 inches to 55 inches. The current physique cannot even be attained by natural means. It requires steroids. Today, authentic masculinity is unclear and not even desired. But what is desired is a nice pair of pecs in your face. So what's the take-home message? That what may appear to be sexy and cool or masculine or feminine for heterosexuals may have a more hidden, sinister, long-term homosexual agenda. See, there are two types of manifestation or presentations of homosexuals. It is the gay and feminine flamboyant type, but also the macho hypermasculine type that we see in the Greek and Roman empires and their statues. So, young men, keep your clothes on. Young women, keep your clothes on. What does Romans chapter 12 say? Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. First John chapter 2 verse 15. Love not the world, and neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. First Timothy chapter 2 verse 9. Also, I desire that women should adorn themselves modestly and appropriately and sensibly in seemingly apparel, not with elaborate hair arrangement or gold or pearls or expensive clothing. There is a demonic force. The spirit of the Antichrist is behind all things in this world, driving everyone to all forms of abomination, homosexuality and lesbianism. But the scriptures teaches us the doctrine of what God expects from us and how to live in this world and to be a light in the darkness. First Corinthians chapter 4 verse 3 says, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. And